My dad demanded that I pay $2,300 for my brother's graduation party. I refused. 2 days later they asked me to give him my car. Again I said no. Without hesitation they kicked me out. 1 year later karma hit back. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I've noticed the channel is losing some traction and subscribing is the best way to support us. It's quick, free, and it truly helps grow this amazing community. Let's start the story. I'm Marissa, and for as long as I can remember I've been the one expected to sacrifice, stay quiet, and somehow still be grateful to a family that never treated me as their own. My younger brother Jake has always been the golden boy. You know the type. Charming, loud, popular, barely lifts a finger but everyone sings his praises. My parents practically worshipped the ground he walked on. And me? I was the responsible one. The planner. The fixer. The ATM. I moved out at 21 after putting myself through college with 2 part-time jobs and a modest scholarship. I got a job as a graphic designer at a small agency, worked hard, lived frugally, and by 25 I had saved enough to buy myself a used car, a silver Hyundai Elantra that I was immensely proud of. It wasn't flashy, but it was mine. Every inch of that car represented my freedom, my work ethic, and my independence. Meanwhile, Jake breezed through life with excuses and handouts. My parents paid for his tuition, rent, and Uber rides. When he got into trouble for underage drinking, my mom blamed his friends. When he failed a course, my dad called the professor a moron. I accepted early on that my family wasn't going to treat me and Jake the same. But what happened last year pushed things way beyond unequal. It was downright humiliating. It all started 2 weeks before Jake's graduation. I was visiting my parents' house, a rare occurrence. We weren't exactly close, but I tried to maintain basic ties out of politeness. As soon as I stepped into the kitchen, I could tell something was brewing. My dad sat at the dining table, serious and stiff. My mom hovered by the counter pretending to scroll her phone. Jake was grinning like he knew something I didn't. Dad cleared his throat and said very casually, "So we've decided to throw a proper graduation party for Jake. It's a milestone. And we figured you'd want to contribute." I blinked. "Sure. What kind of contribution are you thinking?" My dad leaned forward. $2,300. I laughed. Out loud. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. "I'm sorry, what?" I said, my smile fading. "You want me to pay over $2,000 for Jake's party? You're the only one with stable income." Mom chimed in like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Jake just smirked and shrugged. "It's not that much for you." It was that much. And even if I could spare it, why would I? "I'm not doing that," I said flatly. "You've already covered everything for Jake his whole life. I don't see why I should be bankrolling his party now." Dad's eyes narrowed. "So you're just going to be selfish as usual?" "Selfish?" I repeated, stunned. "You're asking me to fund a party I wasn't even consulted about. That's not selfish. That's boundaries." My mom rolled her eyes. "You always make everything about you." The conversation spiraled. They accused me of being jealous, bitter, and resentful of Jake's happiness. I finally stood up and told them I wasn't paying a dime and left before the shouting could escalate. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. 2 days later I got another call. This time from Jake. "Hey sis," he started with fake cheer. "So I was thinking, since you're not going to help with the party, maybe you can still help me out with something else." "No," I said instantly, already feeling the weight in my stomach. "Let me borrow your car." He continued anyway. "Just for the summer. I need something to get around." "Absolutely not." "Oh come on," he whined. "It's just sitting there when you're at work." "It's my car, Jake. I worked for it. I paid for every inch of it." "You're being dramatic." Click. That night my dad called me and said I was being disrespectful to family. He said I was punishing Jake for being loved. I said, "I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just done being used." 2 days later I got home from work and found my key to their house had been disabled. I tried texting my mom. No reply. Jake blocked me. My dad finally messaged. "If you're going to act like you're not part of this family, don't expect to be treated like one. We'll manage. Without your negativity." I sat in my apartment in silence for a long time that night. No tears. Just a hollow feeling in my chest. I wasn't shocked, honestly. But something inside me cracked a little. I had tried for years to earn their love by being useful. I helped with errands, babysat Jake when I was younger, ran last-minute grocery trips when mom was too tired, sent money when things were tight. But the moment I said no, I was disposable. For the first time in my adult life, I realized I didn't need to explain myself anymore. I didn't need to earn love from people who only saw me as a resource. It hurt, sure. But it was also freeing. Over the next few months, I started living for me. I took on freelance work on the side. I joined a local community art group and started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. I got a promotion. I even started saving for a small beach trip. No contact with my family. Not a word. It was lonely but peaceful. And then 1 year later, I heard something through the grapevine. Jake had dropped out of his grad program, blamed the professors again. My parents tried to support him, but their finances were tanking. The business dad had invested in, the one he refused to listen to me about, had flopped. Mom's part-time job wasn't enough to cover everything. And suddenly I got a message. From my mom. A short one. Hi, honey. Hope you're well. Can we talk? And just like that, karma started knocking. I stared at my phone for a long time after that message. Hi, honey. Hope you're well. Can we talk? It was short. Almost too short. No apology. No acknowledgement of the silence. Or the fact that they kicked me out over not paying for a party and refusing to give away my car like a hand-me-down. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But curiosity won. I replied, Hi, Mom. I'm doing well. What do you want to talk about? Her reply came within minutes. We're having some financial strain. Your dad's business isn't doing great. And Jake, well, he's figuring things out. Would love for the family to reconnect. Maybe we can all talk over dinner. There it was. No responsibility. No remorse. Just a vague invitation sprinkled with guilt. I didn't say yes right away. I needed to be smart. Over the past year, I had grown. I didn't just gain success. I gained clarity. I had learned that setting boundaries didn't make me cold. That saying no wasn't selfish. That walking away from people who only call you when they want something wasn't abandonment. It was survival. I asked a mutual cousin who was still in touch with them what was really going on. Apparently, Jake had maxed out their credit cards. He borrowed money from one of Dad's old business partners and ghosted him. Then he wrecked the car they gave him. Not mine. Thankfully, in a late-night accident. Insurance didn't cover the damages because he was under the influence. Meanwhile, the business my dad had dumped all his savings into had completely collapsed. And my mom had to start picking up extra shifts at the local diner. The Golden Boy had tarnished their finances and now they were drowning. I agreed to dinner. Not because I felt bad. Because I needed to close the door properly. I met them at a mid-tier Italian restaurant the following Friday. When I walked in, my mother stood up with a practiced smile and opened her arms. I didn't hug her. My dad gave me a stiff nod. Jake wasn't there. We sat down. The tension was thick. I wore my confidence like armor slacks blazer. No makeup. Calm expression. Mom went first. It's so good to see you. You look successful. I said. I've been doing well. She nodded slowly. That's wonderful. We're proud of you. That was laughable. But I didn't laugh. Then Dad cleared his throat. Look, I'll get straight to the point. Things have been hard. Jake's made some mistakes. I made some business decisions that didn't work out. Your mom's working doubles and I'm trying to rebuild. But it's been tough. I said nothing. Dad shifted in his seat. We were hoping you could help. A small loan. Just until things stabilize. How small? I asked. 20,000. I choked on my water. He added. You'd get it back, of course. We just need breathing room. I leaned back and looked at them both. You kicked me out of your lives over $2,000. Now you want 20. My mom's smile faltered. That was a misunderstanding. We were emotional. No, I cut in. It was perfectly clear. You demanded money. I said no. You treated me like a wallet. Not a daughter. We were under stress, Dad muttered. I shook my head. You kicked me out for refusing to give away my car. Do you even remember what you said to me? Silence. Dad, you said I was acting like I wasn't part of the family. That you'd manage without my negativity. More silence. I leaned forward. Now that Jake's run through your money, wrecked your car and dropped out of school, now I'm suddenly family again. Don't talk about your brother that way. My mom snapped, but her voice was shaky. Why not? I asked. You never had a problem letting him talk down to me. You never defended me once. You let him take and take and take. And you blamed me for not giving more. Dad's jaw tightened. We came here because we need help. Not a lecture. No, you came here because your golden child left you in shambles. And the daughter you threw away is still standing. You didn't ask how I was all year. You didn't apologize. You just saw me as your next bailout. My mom looked like she might cry. I didn't feel anything. No triumph. No vindication. Just relief. I'm not giving you a dime, I said calmly. And I hope you figure things out. But I'm not your safety net anymore. Dad stood up furious. You ungrateful brat. After all we did for you, I stood too. You mean after all I did for you? I helped with groceries. Took care of Jake. Paid for things you said you'd reimburse. You never gave me anything without a string attached. I grabbed my coat. Mom reached out. Please don't do this. I pulled away. You already did. I walked out without another word. That was 9 months ago. I haven't heard from them since. Jake eventually moved out, apparently shacked up with some girl he barely knows. My parents sold their car and started renting out their basement to make ends meet. I got promoted again. Bought a new car. This time brand new. I started traveling, joined a women in tech mentorship program, and began writing a book about reclaiming your life from toxic family. I'm not bitter. I don't need revenge. I don't need them to fall apart to feel better. But I'll say this. When you stop being a doormat, people either learn to respect your boundaries or they show you they never cared in the first place. My family showed me who they were. And I believed them. That was the best thing that ever happened to me.